What's up, everyone? My name is Jean, and it's party time. I love a good party, so I'm always glad when someone invites me to join one. I remember when I was in school, I was invited to my friend's birthday party, and she had a petting zoo and snow cones and cotton candy, and it was amazing. And maybe somebody invited you today. Maybe the invitation even surprised you. You might not have been sure you'd be welcome, included, or accepted at church. So when somebody invited you to come and be a part of it this week, you are definitely a little surprised. I think we can all relate, right? We've all been surprised to be invited to be a part of something before. Maybe we made the team when we didn't expect to, or we got accepted into the club we had to apply for, or we felt like we were in a friend group with people who were way more popular than us. Being invited or included probably made you wonder, how did I even get here? Well, if you've ever had that thought, you actually have a lot in common with many of the people who celebrated the very first Christmas thousands of years ago. Let's go back, way back to the very first Christmas. For thousands of years, the people of Israel were waiting for their Messiah. He was the one God promised would come and change everything for them, the one who would save them from their sins. As they waited and waited, a lot of people had ideas about how it would happen. More than that, they had ideas about who would actually get to hang out with or be close to the Savior of the world. They had a lot of thoughts about who would be invited. Of course, everything about how the Savior actually arrived to the world was surprising. Most of the people thought that he would only hang out with the religious leaders, or kings, or people with a lot of power. But here's what actually happened. There were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people." The first people invited to see Jesus, the Savior, when he was born? The shepherds. Now, if you were at church last week, then you already know this was surprising. You might not live in a place where there are a lot of sheep now, but back then, shepherds weren't the most well-known or well-respected people. They weren't rich or powerful or religious. They weren't the people anyone thought would be invited or included to meet the Savior. That's why it was so shocking that an angel not only showed up and announced to them the news that Jesus, the Savior, was born, but also invited them to go see Jesus for themselves. I have no way of knowing for sure why God chose to let them know first, but I do know that God does everything on purpose. I can't help but think God was making a point about what kind of people were invited to see Jesus. Not just the super rich, super powerful, and super religious, but everyone. Because this was good news of great joy for all people. Here's why I'm interrupting the party to talk about this. Because you're invited too. You're invited, not just to come to church each week, but to be included in the family of God. To be a part of the story God is writing in this world, to follow Jesus every day. Being at church doesn't mean you have to act a certain way or believe what everyone else believes or do anything specific to belong. The real you, just the way you are, is invited and included. In fact, I hope you'll continue to show up after the party and beyond. The leaders at your church would love to have you there each and every week. Why? Because you're invited. And I hope you'll come back and see it for yourself.